Hey YouTube, Common Collector here, and today I'm bringing you guys an update to my Poker Night deck profile. This is Joker's Night, Poker Night, Arcana Night, whatever you guys want to call this one, deck profile. This is a really fun deck which got a ton of support back in King's Court, if you guys don't remember. And then also we got a little bit of new support in Battles of Legend Crystal Revenge, so I figured it was finally time for me to update this deck with the new support that we had just gotten. So along with that, this deck just runs a bunch of light warrior monsters, has a ton of cool like similarities to like playing poker or just various card games, especially with the new card, which we will get to in a minute. And then also I do run the option of playing like the raw sphere mode and stuff. A big reason why I wanted to update this deck because raw sphere mode is currently seeing a lot of play because of Kashtira. And it is kind of just cool to be able to play that card and use it in this deck as like a main deck option. So anyways, let's get on into the profile. But please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you guys are new here or if you guys just haven't subscribed already. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's get into this. So we are playing 3 copies of Joker's Night. So this card is really critical to the deck because when you summon out your King's Knight, you want to have a Queen's Knight on the field. So basically with this card, you can shotgun this to pitch your Queen's Knight from your deck to be able to special summon him out onto the field, and then you can use your normal summon to go into King's Knight, which is really, really cool. Also, Joker's Knight has a second effect to where if he's in the graveyard during the end phase, you can bounce back or spin back one of your light warrior monsters back into the deck and add him back to the hand. So like I said, kind of dealing with card games, it kind of keeps giving your hand advantage and stuff, so it's really cool that they kind of increase that, kind of like in poker and stuff when you do like a turn and burn kind of style thing. It's just kind of nice to be able to put stuff back and add new cards into your hand, so it is just overall really nice. King's Knight, as I said, when he's normal summoned, if you have Queen's Knight on the field, you're able to special summon Jack's Knight. So we are playing 2 copies of each of the Queen's and Jack's Knight. I switched it around my ratios a little bit and put it to 2 Queen's Knight just so I could add in some other stuff, but which we will get to in a minute. But overall, I think that these are the right ratios. You want to play this like as these ratios just because overall things work out. You want to have 3, you want to basically open up King's Knight and Joker's Knight every hand, and then you just need the extra copies of these to be able to go into them. If you want to have at least 1 copy in your deck, which is very important. Only running 1 copy of Imperial Bower at this point, which a lot of people play this as a 3 of, but I just kind of realized through testing that I was just opening up too many hands where I opened up with him and then a bunch of other normal summons. So overall, a great way to utilize him is to be able to special summon him out with the new spell card that the deck got, the Royal Straight, and then you can just get 2 free monsters. Overall, he's super great for if you just if you're in like an open game state and you need to normal summon him out and tribute him to get to 2 level 4s on the field, and then just like OTK your opponent with like a Utopia or whatever. But overall, it is just really good to just have him at 1 for whenever you need him. Now we have the 1 copy of the new Royal Straight Slasher. This card is super cool, but he can only be summoned with the new Royal Straight spell card, which I was just talking about. But when he is summoned, you're able to send monsters with levels 1 through 5, 1 of each, send them to the graveyard from your deck or hand, and then you're able to blow up your opponent's entire field, which is super duper cool. So again, kind of going with that poker theme of having like a straight flush or whatever, or yeah, just a straight to be able to send 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that is just overall really cool, I think. Then getting on into the God stuff, this is a little bit in here for the memes, but it does work really, really well, which I sort of just tried to make it the main focus of the deck, was to try to be able to go into your 3 Kings, Queens, and Jacks Knight, and then be able to end on Raw Sphere mode on your opponent. So we have the 1 copy of Raw Sphere mode, which you can summon during your opponent's turn, or if you're going second, you can summon it during your turn. But overall, it's just really cool to be able to tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters mid-combo. So I'm trying to think of what would be a good example, but like if your opponent was playing Sword Soul, let's say, and they got out their Chi-Chow and they were about to go into their second Synchro Summon with the Long Yun, you could just go ahead and use Sphere Mode to tribute off like the Long Yun, the Chi-Chow, and then if they had like a Monk of the Tenyu, tribute that off, and then they're just left with the token, and then they're stuck into Synchro Summoning, so like they would specifically have to have Shathana to be able to out that or something like that, or you can just tribute the token. So it's just really cool to be able to go into this mid-combo in your opponent's turn. Then Then just sort of for the memes, we're playing the 1 copy of Ra, because if your opponent does get stuck and they are just sitting on the Ra sphere mode, then they're going to have to pass turn to you. And then during like during the standby phase, you can tribute this card, special summon this card, or just any time during your turn, tribute this to special summon Ra from your hand or deck, and then it becomes a 4,000 attack beater, so it's really cool. It kind of goes around the things that make Ra really bad, which are that like you have to tribute stuff and then it gains attack, but overall like this just bypasses it and it just becomes a 4,000 attack beater. Then also we are playing 1 copy of Slifer, because with our Thunder Speed summon, we are able to summon out any level 10 non-dark monster, so we can get out either sphere mode or we can get out Slifer. So if the option to tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters isn't really applicable, like if your opponent is playing Sky Striker, for example, and they don't end up on like 3 monsters at a time, you can just go into Slifer, get Slifer on the field. Or another great example would be against Sprite, because against Sprite, all of the monsters for Sprite are like well under 2,000 attack. So if you just go into Slifer, tribute your 3 monsters, and then get Slifer out on your board, then basically what that means is that every time your opponent summons, all of their monsters are going to get reduced by 2,000 attack. So it's just a nice floodgate, actually. So like using Slifer as a floodgate is really crazy for this deck, because then if you're against Sprite, like I said, your opponent's going to summon all their stuff. They're all just going to get blown up. And then like even if they tried to go into Gigantic Sprite, like Gigantic Sprite is even still just 1,600 attack. It only gains the extra attack if it's summoned with a Link monster, but all of the Link 2 monsters are also under 2,000 attack. So this just like destroys a lot of the stuff in the meta right now. Sprites aren't super duper in the meta, but you guys know what I'm saying. It's just really cool. All the different applications that these 2 cards specifically can work around is really cool. Getting into hand traps, we're playing 3 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma, and also we have to pay attention to our levels that we're putting into the deck for Royal Straight Slasher, because we already have 4s and 5s in the deck. And so we have to put in 1s, 2s, and 3s. So we're playing 3 copies of Gamma along with the 1 copy of Driver. For our level 3s, we're playing 2 copies of Ash Blossom. It's a little weird to play Ash at 2, but we just really need her in here as a level. And then overall, this deck just doesn't have a lot of space to be able to add in too many hand traps. So then we're also playing 2 copies of Effect Veiler for our level 1s. Also keep in mind that you can send the stuff from the hand for Royal Straight Slasher. So the fact that you can send them from the hand, like if you have an Effect Veiler, if you drop both Effect Veilers, as long as you keep one of them in the hand, it still works out. Getting into the spells, 3 copies of Joker's Straight. This is the most crucial part of the deck, because if you don't end up opening the Joker's Knight, you need to open up Joker's Straight to be able to like full combo, get all 3 of the monsters on the board. And then this also has the same effect to where you can add this back to the hand for that hand advantage during the end phase by spinning back a Light Warrior monster. And then both of these cards actually fuel into your Slifer if you end up getting Slifer on the field. That's just like 2 extra free cards into your hand. That way Slifer is actually going to be a pretty big boy. Then getting on into the rest of the spells, we have 3 copies of the Royal Straight. So this is the card that I've alluded to earlier for how you get into the Royal Straight Slasher. And so basically with this card, you can send 1 Queens, Kings, or Jack's Knight from hand or face-up field to graveyard in order to special summon 1 from your hand or deck that mentions all 3 of them. So this is a great way to get out like your Imperial Bower or get out the Royal Straight Slasher. Just overall really cool. Then we're going on into 3 copies of our Thunder Speed summon. Next to your Joker's Straight, I would say that this is the other most important spell of the deck, because this is the card that's going to allow you to summon out your Raw Sphere mode or your Slifer during your opponent's turn. And then also it allows you to search as long as you have all 3 of the Queens, Kings, and Jacks Knight. So if you don't open up with the God card, you're able to search for it and then get that tribute off. Then 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity. This card is a little spendy for the deck. However, it is important that you can get to those really crucial cards, because like I said, we're playing a lot of cards that just don't do stuff. So we're playing Jack's Knight, Queen's Knight. We're also playing like the Gamma package with Driver. So a lot of the time you're going to be bricking a little bit. So Pot of Prosperity is going to get you to the important cards that you need. And then the last inclusion of the deck that I actually had was Triple Tactics Thrust. This card is really, really great for the deck. I wish I could play it at more copies, but I just didn't know what to take out. If you guys don't like having Raw, the actual Raw in here, as the memes, or for the memes. You could take it out to put in an extra copy of Triple Tactics Thrust and also find a spot for a Triple Tactics Talent, but I still thought that this was pretty good. Overall, before I had this in as a third Queen's Knight, and then I just realized you don't really need to have Queen's Knight too much in your opening hand. You would rather just have stuff that gets you into your stuff. So Triple Tactics Thrust is a better card to draw, because then you can just use this to search to try to get into your Jack straight or your Joker straight. So overall, really, really great. And then one copy of Rhoda just to be able to get you your King's Knight if you open with Joker's Knight and stuff like that. And then lastly, 3 copies of the Joker's Wild. This card is going to allow you to to be able to copy the effect of your Thunder Speed summon during your opponent's turn, which is also just really crazy. So overall, having the Joker's Wild in here, along with that, Pot of Prosperity, and then also your Thunder Speed Summon to be able to just try to get, or your Triple Tactics Thrust to be able to search for Pot of Prosperity, or just to be able to straight up search your Joker's Wild. This gives you like 4 different avenues to be able to try to get into your Thunder Speed Summon for like the main purpose of this deck. So then let's get on into the extra. We're playing 1 copy of the Arcana Knight Joker. This card, you can actually summon it off now with your copy of the Royal Straight, because it can also special summon from extra deck, which is really cool. Then we're also playing 1 copy of Psyframe Lord Omega, just because we're playing the Gamma and the Driver. Also, along with that, playing the 1 copy of Lambda. Got to be having Lambda in here if we want, and we do have the space for it. We have 1 copy of IP Masquerena. Also, to go in with the Arcana Knight stuff, we have the Arcana Extra Joker. This card is still really great to be able to end up on. And also, don't forget that with our Jokers straight, we do end up getting locked into Light Warrior monsters, so that's also a big reason why there's so many Light Warrior monsters in the extra deck. We have 1 copy of Unicorn, 1 copy of Appaloosa, and 1 copy of Access Code Talker to be able to just make big pushes for the deck. Then we're getting on into 1 copy of Baguska. If you open up pretty poorly, if you like just open up an Imperial Bower or something like that, then you can just go into Baguska and just kind of pass on that. It's not great, but it's kind of a good backup plan. 1 copy of Starleash Paladynamo, 1 copy of Satellar Knight Deltaros, 1 copy of Utopia, 1 copy of Utopia the Lightning. I did drop Double or Nothing out of here, but Utopia the Lightning is pretty good. Just to be able to reduce on bricks, I wanted to go with this route. 1 copy of Constellar Pleiades, and then also to finish off the extra deck, 1 copy of Double A Zeus. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for the deck profile. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one. As I said, basically the main combo of this deck is just to open up Joker straight, and then also open up like Joker's Wild or your Thunder Speed summon, and then you're basically set. You're going to use Joker straight to discard 1 random card, or just discard 1 card. Basically special out Queen's Knight and add King's Knight to your hand. Special out the King's Knight, which will allow you to special out or normal out the King's Knight with the effect of your Joker straight. Normal out or special summon out the Jack's Knight, and then basically you can just pass on Joker's Wild. Joker's Wild is going to copy your copy of Thunder Speed Summon. Thunder Speed Summon will add either the Slifer or the Raw Sphere mode into your hand, and then you can either tribute your 3 monsters for the Slifer and floodgate your opponent, or you can tribute 3 of your opponent's monsters and go for that Raw Sphere mode. So overall, that's the main point of the deck. It's really cool, really fun, and then you can just sort of have a couple hand traps in your hand to be able to just sort of also interrupt your opponent is kind of the main goal. So thank you guys again so much for watching. Hopefully that this little tutorial at the end helped. Again, subscribe to this channel if you guys haven't already. I would really, really appreciate it, and we will see you guys for the next profile. Peace.